Thank you so much, Hannah. The time is now 6:53 on this Tuesday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go. Some Wisconsin voters will head to the polls for the spring primary election. You'll need either a driver's license or a photo ID to cast your ballot. We have a link to see what's on your ballot on our website at northernnewsnow.com. Meanwhile, Governor Tony Evers will deliver his 8th and final State of the State address today. Governor Evers has less than a year in office left before he steps down. A wide Democratic primary to replace Evers is already underway, and Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany is largely set as the GOP candidate. With 9 months until the general election, experts say Evers' speech will likely be focused on shaping his own legacy. The State of the State is scheduled to start at 7 tonight at the Wisconsin State Capitol. An investigation is underway after authorities believe they found the body of a missing man near International Falls. According to the Couchiching County Sheriff's Office, Mark Rude's body was found around 2 p.m. yesterday, around about 60 feet from a trail on Highway 11, not far from where his vehicle was found about 2 weeks ago. Authorities believe melting snow helped the search team, who had been looking for a 66-year-old after he was last seen on January 19th. Authorities have not shared any more about the circumstances of his death. The Minnesota BCA is assisting in that investigation. And we're learning more details after the deadly shooting last week involving 2 St. Louis County deputies. Officials have released the name of the man who died and the law enforcement officers who fired their weapons. The Minnesota BCA reports 30-year-old Donald Felver, the third of Duluth, died in the shooting on Grand Avenue last Tuesday. The BCA also identified the 2 sheriff deputies that fired their weapons. They are Sergeant Joshua Burnt, who has 19 years of law enforcement experience, and Deputy Matthew Sobzak, who has 16 years of experience. Both the deputies are on critical incident leave. And 3 Stella Maris Academy students made their mark at the state skiing championship last week. Senior Annabelle came through with a strong performance, finishing 4th in the state. She was joined by 2 newcomers to the competition, 8th grader Luciana and 7th grader Carson. Carson made history as the only boy in his grade level competing at the state meet. The coach says these student athletes' dedication, skill, and sportsmanship represent the very best of Stella Maris Academy.